You don't need a black belt. Self-defense is not a sport or an activity. It is self-preservation. Self-preservation depends on your ability to perform simple tasks under extraordinary conditions. To do that, you need the plan plus decide plus act equals survival, or PDAS formula. The 60-minute Self-Defense for the People program gives you that plan, tells you when to decide, and then shows you how to act. In the end, you survive. It's that simple. In just 60 minutes, you will have a clear understanding of what you need to survive and escape from even the most determined, violent attacker. The 60-minute Self-Defense for the People program will give you the tools you need. Simply watch the video and implement the drills and mind-setting techniques on your worksheets. You only need to go through the drills a handful of times. These drills, combined with your natural will to survive, will give you that power in your greatest time of need. At the Self-Defense Company, self-defense is not a lifetime endeavor. It is a necessary life skill. We hope that you are never placed in a life or death situation, but if you are, you will have the knowledge and the skill to survive and get home safe. Thank you for taking the time to consider the Self-Defense Company's 60-minute self-defense for the people. Together, we will make our communities safe.
All right, now we're live. I want to welcome everybody for coming onto our show. This is episode 1 of In Your Defense with instructor Daniel Cothron. I want to tell you about a lady who's a global nomad who has lived in 5 countries. She is a business mentor and has been helping businesses grow for 4 years. She is passionate about using business as a way to help empower women to reach their potential and achieve economic independence. This lady is Crystsl Gregory. How you doing?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Crystsl Gregory?
That's a great question. So I am, I guess I've lived on both sides of the pond, and I'm based in South Wales, and I love helping people and connecting around the world in different ways. And I'm, as you said in the intro, I'm super passionate about helping empower people through entrepreneurship and through building businesses. So.
Oh, awesome. So you said you lived in 5 countries. What countries were though?
So it was the States, Canada, Kenya, Wales, and England, although Wales and England are technically the same. And I've also been, so actually I've lived in 4 countries, not 5.
All right, cool. So we talked about before the show started about empowering women through your business mentorship. Tell us a little bit about that and what made you decide to get into that role.
Sure. Yeah, I'm super passionate about coaching business owners, but in particular women and people who are on the outside, because entrepreneurship offers such a huge power to empower people to create their own livelihood to fit around what they need to be doing in life as well.
For someone who doesn't know exactly what it takes to start a business, is there anything you can help them out with?
Sure. I would say the first part to starting a business is you need to be, pardon the pun, crystal clear about who you help and how you help them, and to keep it really, really simple, because in the online space right now, there's just so many complex and complicated things that you could do. And the simpler you keep it, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of reminds me of the Self-Defense Company. We're kind of, well, it's not kind of, it really is. We take simple stuff and make the most out of it. You know, I'm not sure if this is what you're getting at, but for us, you know, we have an affiliate program where we train people to become instructors with, you know, very little experience. They don't even have to be a black belt in anything, and then they can start their own business that way. If someone was wanting to do, if they were wanting to do a business, not with a franchise or anything, just come from scratch, what would be the very first thing that they could do?
That's a great question. And it's what I call kind of just sitting down and reflecting for about 15 or 20 minutes on the skills that they have and what they like doing and how they can earn money to replace their job or to sustain themselves. And then taking that list and asking the people that know them the most, who might buy from them, what they think they could help them with.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I guess another question that people may be asking is, how does building a business empower anyone, but especially women?
Sure, building a business is amazing because it's a journey of discovery, but it's also a way to create your own income and your own income streams that can help you to fit around a lot of the other responsibilities that, in particular, women tend to have. But also, building a business can really help you to make a difference in the world as well, to get a message out, as well as to create a legacy and to build a lasting wealth. Because I think so many of us, especially pre-COVID, we're stuck in the kind of the job trap of, working a 9 to 5, coming home, paying the bills each month, but then kind of being stuck to that. And building a business is one pathway that offers people, especially women, the opportunity to develop real wealth and real independence that way.
Yeah, so independence brings me to another topic, self-reliant. What's the importance to being self-reliant?
Yeah, I think it's kind of an internal attitude, and this is what we were talking about before the show, is how does entrepreneurship relate to self-defense? And I think in a way it's economic self-defense, really, because as an entrepreneur, you're in control of your time and your income and your operations if you have a small company. And in a way, when you work for someone else, you're kind of stuck to their goals and their agenda. And either is fine. But if you think about it, if the company goes under and you're looking for another job, whereas if you had on the side your own small company or your own side hustle, then you have another pathway for yourself and your family.
Absolutely. Let's talk about your business a little bit. What would you bring to the table if someone decided to go to one of your websites? Can you talk to them about that?
Sure, yeah. At my business, we have created I relaunched my business in December of 2020, and I had one client in January, and then that grew to 15 by this past December, where I helped businesses to grow online, and I've created what I call the Bamboo business system, but I'm not sure if it's going to stick with that name. But I like the idea of Bamboo because it's strong and resilient and creative. But it's a really cool system and pathway that brings people through scaling and growing, but in a way that's very sustainable and in a way that helps them to regain time as well, because a lot of the business owners that I've worked with have really struggled in that they're financially independent, but they're spending way too much time working on their business or in it, and they feel like they've just kind of created another job for themselves. So.
Right. So is there any way you can describe the difference between a job and work? Because a lot of people, they get up 9 to 5 and they go to work, but there is something different about what is considered a job and what is work. Can you help us understand the difference?
Yeah, I think there is. And I think that's what I try to bring back to the business owners that I work with is true work is something that you enjoy and that lights up your life and that brings passion to it. I think of my grandma who passed away recently, but she was 89 and she started quilting when I think she was about 60 or 65. And so for a very long time, she made these absolutely beautiful, beautiful quilts. But for her, for me, it would definitely be a job if you put me in a quilting workshop, because to have that time and attention to detail and everything to do those beautiful designs. But for my grandma, it was really passion. It was hours of work, but it was something that she did that flowed out of her soul. So I guess work is more linked to your soul and your purpose that you're put on earth for, whereas a job is something that you do to pay the bills and to get by. And I'm not saying that either is wrong. In fact, it's possible to have a job as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you nailed it with the word passion. I believe people should pursue what they have a passion for. So if you have a passion for cooking, that's something, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that's something that you should to strive for, to maybe build a business upon, instead of neglecting that and focusing on creating shoes. If you don't have passion for it, you're probably not going to do very good work, in my opinion. And what do you think about that?
Yeah, 100%. And in fact, that's actually part of the process that my clients go through, is taking a look at all the different jobs and work that they're offering to clients and services, and making sure that it's actually aligned to their passion and to their team's passion. Because if it's not, it doesn't sell as well. And it also shows up in the customer service and customer retention and that kind of thing. But there's also a huge danger in the online space as well. And I really think that people have to be really super cautious about making sure that they still have income coming in as they are developing their business. So you need to really be 100% sure that you are pursuing that passion, but that it's also profitable at the same time.
Right. My first starting a business ever, it was a parking enforcement business.
Wow.
I was 20 years old. It was right before I jumped into the bounty hunt and stuff. And I didn't know anything about business. I just had this individual who offered me, made an offer that I couldn't refuse. He said, "Hey, if you're going to succeed in life, I can help you out with that. You just tell me your business plan, and you don't have to pay me back. I'm going to loan you this money. You don't have to pay me back until you start making money." And I did not know anything. I just knew that I was an employee for a company, and I loved the job. You know, it was a little dangerous, and I kind of thrive with that stuff. But I failed miserably. I failed. Nobody would hire this newcomer to come in, and what we did was we put boots on people's cars for improperly parking at these apartments, and no one hired me. It's just, I couldn't sell anything. So they just didn't like that idea. So what would you say that I could have done differently? You know,
that's a really
based on
good
what I
question.
told you.
Was this in your community? Were you trying, like, did people already know you, or were you dropped into a new location?
Oh, I was traveling everywhere, as anywhere I could go. I was going, like, I'm in Tennessee. I'm in the northern part, so Macon County, and I'd go all the way to the hub, Nashville, and I
Wow.
would talk to these places and see what they would do, and they just said, "No, get out of here."
Well, I would probably have you sit down and make a strategic action plan first for the people that you knew, or people within your second degree of contacts who might know somebody who managed some property or some apartment complexes first. Because I think it sounds like it was a no, like, and trust factor where you were just cold calling and people didn't know you from anyone else. And if that didn't work, then I would have had you create a list of all the apartment complexes in the area where you wanted to target, and going from there, then to work on creative ways to build relationships with them, whether it was calling them directly, or more creatively working with people who knew them and who serviced them as well, and possibly creating like affiliate or referral partnerships with them. So, like, for example, like if apartment complexes use the same lawn service company or pool company to clean the pool, to see if you could somehow build some relationships that way.
Okay, yeah. I had no idea what to do. I was
That's
just like, I was just given this whole bunch of money, and they said, "Hey, go make something of yourself," and I did, but not with that company. It didn't work out.
That's cool.
So how did you get into what you're doing now?
Yeah, it was a bit of a journey, but I taught for a very long time before I had my family. And then my first online business was actually kind of mirrored what I did in real life. it was helping experts create online courses and kind of membership communities and that kind of thing. And then I took some time out and I went back to school in 2020, and I got into coaching and mentoring. And so that's kind of how I got into it.
At the beginning of the show, we talked about how you were in 5 different countries. I feel like that is like a story of its own.
Sure.
Was you just passionate about going to different countries and helping people, or was you just was you a military girl, or can you? No.
Sure. I grew up actually in Pennsylvania, and pretty rock solid American family. And then I just was really passionate about languages. In high school, I did both German and Spanish.
Wow.
And so I decided that I wanted to study linguistics. And there was a school in Vancouver that had an awesome scholarship. And I had a great aunt who lived in Seattle who was like, it's amazing and so I went over and and that was my Canadian chapter. And then when I was in grad school, I was studying Kiswahili and some of the grammar and stuff. And so that's how I first went to Kenya in East Africa for a bit. And then I taught for a couple of years in the States when I began my career. And then I ended up living in East Africa for a while before coming to the UK.
That's very cool. My daughter, she is big into anime, and she loves like different language. One time she was all about trying to learn Spanish, and I think now it went to Korean because of this K-pop fab that started, and now she's into Japanese culture. And me trying to be the cool dad, try to learn some of these languages, and they say you have to be really smart to learn multiple languages, and that's just not me.
Thank you. That's really kind. But I've been operating in English for a while. So yeah, I think it would be, it's fun though to spot patterns. And I think that's what got me into things in the online space, because it's really fun to pattern spot and do data analysis and that kind of thing. So. Right.
That's something that a lot of businesses that I've talked to, people who are starting up on the online stuff, is like you talked about the analysis, trying to figure out where your customer base is coming from and trying to get that marketing to roll the way it should. The SEO, is that am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Is that the thing? Okay. Is there anything you can talk about that? Like, how to operate that or how to manipulate it? What is there a magic word?
The short answer is no. The long answer is to consider the ecosystem of your business in the online space. And so it used to be really simple that you could just kind of start helping people. And actually, even today, I think in the first 6 months to a year of your business, you don't actually need a website. It's kind of controversial. It's really good to have one. Especially with COVID, and to be listed on Google and that kind of thing. But I'd say look at your business goals as well. Like, who are your customers and where are they coming from in the online space? Because you don't have to be on all the platforms. And I think that's a huge mistake that lots of people make. So.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like the phrase putting all your eggs in one basket. It's kind of like the opposite of that. When you throw all your eggs out there, it's like, where are they? Yeah.
But the other thing though is, do you remember a couple months ago when Facebook went down for a while?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That ruined it.
I know the number of people I know who got ruined by that, or just like had a day without business. So I guess you also have to be really careful about building your stuff on other people's turf in the online space. So you want to make sure that you are creating an email list for your customers, and somehow not just on borrowed or rented land. So. Right.
That's very smart to do. To kind of go back, that's what you're talking about. A little bit of what you're talking about being self-reliant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess so. And I guess the other bit of that comes with an internal resilience and resourcefulness. And that's why I like the idea of Bamboo. Because at least for all of us with COVID and the stuff that we've gone through with the lockdowns and different things, just having the power of hope is really, really key. And having goals and the power of goals, I think is really awesome. And that's also why I love the power of entrepreneurship, because I think I've really seen it transform people, that when they have something that they're creating themselves to bring into the world, it's a really empowering kind of thing.
So if you could, for those who would like to contact you and reach out to for your help on being empowered, how would they reach out to you?
Sure, they would find my email, and my website is cegcoaching.com. And I also have another website called profitablepurposes.com. And for your listeners, I've just run a strategic goal planning for your business strategy session this weekend. And I do have the PowerPoint notes and a recorded presentation I'd be happy to share with them.
That's great. It's been great talking to you, Crystal. If there's anything that we can do, I'd like to have you back on the show again in the future. Just reach out to us if there's any kind of changes in your life and in your business and you want to share it. We'd be happy to have you on.
All right.
All right. It's good seeing you. Have a good one.
You too. All right. Take care.
You too. Bye. All right, folks, there was Crystal Gregory. She was a delight. If you have anything you want to start a business or whatever, be a mentor, if you need a mentor, I think she would be great for you. Let's talk about self-defense for a moment. In self-defense, it's not always about the physical combative stuff. You know, I think one of the first things that she talked about was, being self-reliant. Self-defense is more than just the physical. It's being self-preservation. It's one of the first things that we talk. I think it's in module 1 with the training system. Self-preservation could be anything from living physically or into your mental state. A lot of stress comes from that financial issue, that financial burden. And I believe Crystal is onto something here. Once y'all reach out to her, I think she gave her email address. I'm going to leave the links in the description below. If you want to get some self-defense training to learn more about that defensive tactics situation that I talk about all the time, you can go to my Facebook page. You can go to the Self-Defense Company website. I'll leave those links in the description below as well. You'll have a great day. God bless.
This is Kevin. Despite being seriously injured, Kevin used a very specific close combat tactic called the forward drive to fend off an attacker in a parking garage. Now, more than ever, you need to be prepared to fight back, and you can either be a sitting target or your attacker's worst nightmare. My name is Damian Ross, creator of the Self-Defense Training System, and over the last 30 years, I've compiled the most practical close combat methods based on the tactics perfected by elite commandos in World War II. This system is based on reaction and instinct and can be learned and implemented in less than 60 minutes. Unlike most martial arts that can take years to master and may be vastly ineffective the minute you leave the dojo, my system leverages your fight or flight instinct, which means it's easy to learn and even harder to forget. If you can swing a bat or kick a ball, you can do this. And if you want to really be able to protect yourself and your loved ones when you're out in this crazy world, or when that crazy world kicks in your front door, just click the button to check out my 60-minute self-defense program now. You can get instant access to the online program for a ridiculously low price. And if you order today, I'll also give you 3 incredible bonuses absolutely free. So go ahead and click on the button, and I'll see you on the other side.